Hey guys, for those of you that don't know, my name is Steph. I started a vlog January 1st, 2020, talking about my experience with bipolar disorder type 1 with psychotic features and mixed episodes. I lived a majority of my life until about 5 years ago unmedicated, so I talk about how detrimental that was on my life because bipolar disorder and other severe mental illnesses like that are fatal without medication majority of the time. I now take medication. I advocate for medication, even though it almost killed me at 16 years old, and I explain that on my channel. However, I decided to do 5 minutes a day, unedited, and as a whole, all of these videos should make more sense. However, on an individual basis, they're very irresponsible because a lot of times people are looking for information on bipolar disorder or a certain symptom of bipolar disorder, and they find something that is offensive, like my hypersexuality video. I am talking about one particular instance of hypersexuality, and it wasn't even an instance of hypersexuality. Perhaps it was slightly, because I was more apt at the time to agree to being intimate with this person. So let me explain. In the particular instance that I'm talking about in that video, I'm talking about an instance where I was in San Pedro on the street. I was a mess. I was rambling on. I was in the middle of a psychotic episode. I was outside of a laundromat, laying on the ground, crying. Some guy with some of his friends drives up to me, throws a blanket over me, and is like, hey, can we take her to the people in the car? She doesn't belong here. And I remember this. I remember bits and pieces of my psychosis. I don't remember all of it. So he takes me back to he doesn't even take me back to his house. That's not the first stop. They say yes, throw me in the car. We go through a drive-through at Jack in the Box. I see they have a special promotion going on where they have thyme fries. Thyme, T-H-Y-M-E. And so I'm asking, hey, can I get some of those fries? Can I get some of those fries? But I didn't have any money. They wouldn't buy me any. Instead, they took me back to their place and offered me a place to sleep. Now, I thought I was getting a place to sleep by myself. However, I got in the bed, and then this guy came in and got in the bed with me. This person was taking advantage of me. Yes, I have been hypersexual. I have had sex with homeless people. I have had sex with crazy people just like myself. And I don't feel raped by that. I mentioned rape in this video because that's how I felt after the fact. I see this guy's face when I'm trying to be intimate with my husband sometimes. It's not the same as me saying, yeah, I had sex with them, but they raped me because I was out of my mind. This person had the intent to take advantage of me. So that's why I say I feel like I was kind of raped. I have experience with this because I was at my dad's work, and there were a couple of guys that I had hooked up with. One guy, but he had a friend. So we went over to his house, and I got totally drunk, out of my mind, beyond drunk. And this guy and I guess, had sex. I remember being in the bed with him, and I woke up and the next day, and I liked him. So I kind of felt like, hey, it's not even date rape because, like, yes, I was totally drunk out of my mind. I couldn't stand up, and I was puking all over the bathroom, and they knew this. He knew he shouldn't have had sex with me. I didn't even remember it, but I liked the guy. So I thought, well, I would have had sex with him anyway, so it's not really rape. It's not a big deal. But it was a big deal. But see, I give people a lot of credit, and I think that guys are just inherently stupid a lot of times. So I think that they make mistakes. So I never got angry with this guy. But I did feel disgusting afterwards because when I talked to him on the phone, I didn't remember it at all. I didn't remember a single moment of it because I was blackout drunk. And he told me that I initiated it, and I believed him. So maybe I did. The reason I'm telling you this story is because the feeling that I felt after that happened is the same feeling that I got after what happened in San Pedro. So a lot of people have been really cruel with their comments, but they haven't quite understood the actual, I think a lot of people don't understand what I'm doing. A lot of people say that I'm brave for doing this and talking about my problems and stuff, but I'm not brave. I'm not brave. I just don't care about judgment. When you judge someone, it says more about you than it does about them. And I know that. So I don't really care what people think of me. But it hurt me because I really want people to understand just how painful and how many experiences, how many places you could land if you are someone who experiences bipolar type 1, and if you are someone who experiences full-blown mania and psychosis. You cannot control it. If you're someone who's schizophrenic and hears voices, you cannot control it. You cannot go to the middle of the desert and live where there's no stress. It's still going to happen. It's still going to happen. It's not a curable disease, and it's not something that very many people know about. They might know bipolar, they might have heard bipolar type 1, they might have heard bipolar type 2, but they don't really know what it's like. They just think, oh, well, that person's crazy and they have mood swings. That's not at all what it's like. And I want to make a point to explain exactly what hypersexuality is. Hypersexuality is an overwhelming desire to have sex, look at sexual materials, or masturbate. In order for someone to be considered hypersexual, it has to be disruptive to their life. And hypersexuality is not nymphomania because it's not something that is constantly there. It goes away when you're not sick anymore. It is something that comes along with psychosis. In hypersexuality, we make very poor decisions. Our judgment is impaired. So a lot of people who experience hypersexuality end up with STDs or pregnant. Luckily, nothing like that happened to me, but I did have no protected sex when I was hypersexual. It was all unprotected. So it was very dangerous situation for me. And regardless of what some people may think, in psychosis, we don't have control over our minds. And if we don't have control over our minds, we don't have control over anything we do or say. I'm very fortunate that I have a husband who understands mental illness and understands how much I love him, and he loves me, and he's willing to support me and learn about my mental illness. I'm lucky. Not everybody has a partner like that. So my advice to you young people who are not married yet and might have a mental illness is make sure that the person that you end up with knows everything about you and knows about your episodes, has seen what it looks like, knows about your diagnosis, understands that they're going to have to be there to help you with it for your life. And there might be some really painful or horrible experiences. So I just wanted to clarify that for you guys. I have a challenge coming up. I'm really excited about it. I'm 2 days in. However, yesterday I failed at one aspect of it. I'm going to tell you guys about it real soon, but it's coming probably a few days after. It's probably going to be at the end of the month. Anyways, thank you so much for listening. If you guys are interested in my story and what it's like to live unmedicated with bipolar disorder, start at episode 1. They're all in order by date. I've listed the playlist on my channel that way under my manic life daily vlogs. Okay, thank you guys so much for tuning in.